What is up guys, BobaTalks here, and today I'm here to talk about the recent Harley Quinn news and how she might be coming in episode 22 of this season of Gotham. And then I'm just going to expand upon my personal thoughts about Jerome even being the Joker. So guys, as always, before I get into this video, please leave a like on it if you do end up enjoying it, as I'd really appreciate it. And be sure to share it with all the Gotham family out there and spread the news by posting it on Twitter or Facebook or any other social media. If you do want to stay more up to date with videos just like this guys, be sure to enable that bell button if you are already subscribed to make sure you never miss out on the Gotham video that I upload. So a few videos back, I actually did a video on John Stevens, who kind of casted doubt on Jerome possibly even being the Joker. And the whole reason I speculated on this topic is mainly because he said that Jerome is filling in for the man we know probably who is out there. Now since then, the producer John Stevens has also teased some very exciting news. One that gives me a lot of faith in, Jerome still being the Joker, and just more to the fact that they're probably playing with us and making us worry that he isn't the Joker, when in fact in episode 14, hopefully, if all goes according to plan, it will very much so be that he is the Joker in the future, but he's just not quite the Joker yet. Just like I discussed in one of my previous videos recently, that if anything I had to lay my money on is that they're trying to trick us a bit, play with our hearts, as all you guys keep saying as well, and that he will be the Joker, that Batman faces one day, but right now what we're seeing on screen every week in Gotham is a version of the Joker who's just not quite there yet. He's still currently Jerome. A lot is changing, a lot is advancing, a lot is growing. I mean, for crying out loud, he's got a coat, he's got the stapled face now, he's got a bit of an extended smile. It's all heading in that direction, but there's a lot more with another theory that I will talk about of that after I talk about what has come out recently. Now, as I said, recently John Stevens had that article talking about Jerome in episode 14 and the impact it will have on Bruce's philosophy for Batman, but he's also teased that, the Harley sort of precursor character is also in the works. And now Gotham have always thought of doing Harley, just as they said they were going to do the Joker, and now, as we all know, that they have kind of developed the whole Jerome/Joker story arc quite a lot over the past 3 seasons. It is now about time we start getting the seeds that will be sown into a Harleen or Harley Quinn. But now it stands, as I quote, "It turns out that the villainess will likely be introduced even before the end of this season." John Stevens says, I quote, "We might see her in episode 22. Now the rumours are that, I quote from this article, Harley will be the character that is the launching point for the central plot of season 4. And I have actually mentioned this in my very early Gotham videos before we actually got any of season 3 Jerome, that Gotham did ideally in the future seasons, such as season 4, if they were ever to get there, back then, that they wanted to expand on the Joker's storyline a lot more in season 4, so on and so forth. And it really seems now that we're reaching over the sort of midway point of the 3-episode Jerome story arc, that when this comes to a close in episode 14, we might see obviously the filler episodes come in between, finish the other main story plots, and then in episode 22, Harley or Harleen Quinzel will get introduced, possibly with a little bit of extra Jerome as well. And the reason I'm saying this is because I don't think they would introduce Harley just being Harley by herself. I'm hoping that if this Jerome storyline, goes the way we want it to, it's either going to go of one of 3 ways. Number 1 is that he's not the Joker, and that Dwight's revival of him will only last so long, just like it did on that previous body of that girl who died on the train tracks after being reanimated with the vaults. And after his massive impact on the city, which he's going to do in towards the end of episode 13 and 14, he'll proceed to die after killing a really main character. And then somehow or some other way, he will be an inspiration for the Joker. But, the more this goes on, I'm really hoping that isn't the case. So number 2 is that towards the end of episode 14, it will all get wrapped up just like it always does in the end of every main Batman storyline with the Joker. He gets arrested, goes back to Arkham Asylum, or in this case, he'll be going to Arkham for the first time. That is when, in episode 22, we will see Harleen Quinzel, maybe one of the closing scenes of episode 22, which will sow a seed for, the central plot of season 4. And we'll see a continuation from where, at the end of episode 14, where Jerome was arrested, or, aka the early version of, what we know one day as the Joker. We will see a continuation from the end of episode 14, where he's in Arkham, and by this time he's been in there a few weeks or a couple of months, because, episode 15 to 22. And in episode 22, we will see a young intern, perhaps, because she won't be, full-on psychologist or psychiatrist yet, because, she will be young. She'll be possibly very early 20s. So she might be an intern at Arkham Asylum, which is very plausible. This is a very real thing. People actually do this in the real world. And this works absolutely perfectly, beautifully. Because the way Gotham are doing their own thing is that Jerome, slash the future Joker, is quite young here. He's in his early 20s. But it really does add up that if Harley Quinn gets introduced in episode 22 and she's sort of shadowing a psychologist, or maybe even gets her own time with Jerome Valeska, slash the Joker, who is now in Arkham and has been in there since episode 14. Now, because she's so young and that they have been introduced to each other at such a young age, this would kind of back up that infatuation a lot more. I mean, they're very young, they're very impressionable. I mean, I'm not saying for, Jerome's perspective, because he probably, just like in the Joker storylines, manipulates and uses Harley. But this makes sense for Harley's side of things, that she's doing this as an intern. She's young, she's an impressionable young woman, and over the time of therapy that she has with him in between season 3 and 4, falls in love with him, and that is when we might see in season 4 their relationship develop to a point where it mirrors the actual Harley slash mad love situation that we've got in the comics already. Now, that is the perfect way to do it. If the writers did this, it would be an absolute motherfucking slam dunk. A young, beautiful, impressionable woman who comes into Arkham Asylum as an intern with Jerome there since the end of episode 14 due to being arrested. She is teased through or at the end of episode 2, which shows the seeds for a season 4, which will be absolutely amazing, because why wouldn't they renew it with that bombshell? And then in season 4 they'll expand upon the plot. We'll see how she falls in love with him, and then lo and behold, we might see them escape together at some point, or break out of Arkham because she assists him. But they have so much opportunity to flesh out that relationship here. We can only speculate, but this would truly be the best way to go, and let me know if you agree. Now, as for point number 3, this is very similar to what I just mentioned. In episode 14, we do know roughly that they might be going to Ace Chemicals from leaked pictures. Towards the end of episode 14, they might show that Jerome falls into the pit, maybe as a result of something Bruce is doing. So it's similar, it kind of mirrors what Batman did, but it's like happening a bit earlier. And as a result of him falling in the pit of chemicals, they assume that he's dead, but audience know from similar stories in The Killing Joke that he isn't really. But we might not just see him for a long time, and he'll come back as the fully fledged Joker. And then anyway, the episodes roll by from 15 to 22, and in 22 we see that Harley Quinn is an intern at Arkham Asylum, just setting up some random scene where she just comes in, maybe shadowing someone who's talking to Barnes, and then that would just be a lovely tease for all the audience, because we know what one day she turns into. And now obviously with Jerome in the wind, after falling in the pit, and everyone just assumes he's dead, but they never find the body. There is that danger in Gordon's mind that he could still be out there. So this could be the most likely way, either point 2 or point 3 of what I said. It shows that Jerome still isn't dead, definitely in point 2 because he goes to Arkham at the end of episode 14. Or even in point 3, if he falls into the pit, that will give us our, stained skin and green hair. But at least we know they didn't find the body, and that, he's obviously most likely out there washing up on the shore, just like in The Killing Joke, with his face, facing the camera or something like that, doing that absolutely insane laugh. And I'll just give room for him to be reintroduced in season 4 at some point, I don't know, and then potentially be arrested, then go to Arkham Asylum, be introduced to Harley Quinn, the intern or something like that, and then the infatuation begins, and then the manipulation on Jerome's side slash the Joker's side begins on Harley. Now, in other Gotham news, they are bringing back Mr. Freeze as well, and I'm really happy with that. And I'm sure a lot of you will also be happy with that, since, a lot of people complain that he did kind of just disappear, and they would have loved to know or even have a hint of where he'd gone. We're finally getting that. But I couldn't be more happier that we're seeing Mr. Freeze again. I really liked what they did with his character, and it was a really good origin, just like they've done really well with most other origins, like Scarecrow, who, in fact, whilst I'm talking about Scarecrow, for all those of you who are asking about my opinion on Scarecrow and when do I think we're going to see him again, I think it would be a perfect opportunity to see him in season 4, since, the actor who was a kid would look a lot older now. It has been like nearly 4 years since we've seen him, so that kid was young, so he will look quite a bit different today. So it would be cool to see him go through a bit of adolescence, so to speak, and through that massive fear overdose that he took in season 1. He is sort of turning more and more out like his father, but into the Scarecrow that we know one day will interact with the Batman. But anyway, everyone, I do definitely think that we're getting Harley Quinn in episode 22. It will be probably just a slight introduction to a character, but if we're getting anything more than a quick scene than what I think we are getting, that would just be a bonus. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like on this video, as I really appreciate it, and be sure to share it with all the Gotham family out there on Twitter or Facebook or any kinds of social media. If you aren't subscribed to this channel already, I do cover most things Gotham, as well as other TV shows like The Flash and Arrow and stuff, so be sure to check it out and subscribe. And if you are already subscribed to this channel, be sure to click that bell button to enable alerts on every single Gotham video that I upload, so be sure to never miss out on a single one. But anyway, guys, that is all from me today in this video. Let me know if you agree with anything I said in the comments below, or if you have any other different theories. And apart from that, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.